Mm, 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 mm. I think sometimes we get very confused when we have people in our lives and we have great relationships with them, and then we don't know what happened. They just leave. Whether it's a relationship, friendship, any type of relationship, coworker, whatever, and it ends abruptly, and you literally don't know why. And there's a lot of emotions that comes with that, and I just need you to know why this is an amazing thing. And we're going to really dig deep into this topic as to why you really shouldn't care. Like, it is okay. You're going to be okay. Welcome to Save the Good Girl. I had to kind of switch it up for this intro because this episode is going to be real, okay? It is going to be raw, okay? Welcome to Save the Good Girl. I'm your host, Erica. So there are thousands of reasons why a relationship can end abruptly. Thousands of reasons why. Maybe you did something to someone and you don't know what you did, but it was just so hurtful that they don't want to address it. Maybe they created a narrative in their mind, and instead of talking to you about it and trying to figure out like, hey, what's wrong, they decide to leave it awkward. Maybe they are going through something that is very deep, and they just don't know how to communicate with you because the disruption that happened in their lives is just so great that it's not even about you. They're just selfish right now with everybody, right? There's so many reasons why a relationship can shift, and in some cases, sometimes it could be the person just don't want to talk to you no more. That's it. I mean, it may not be a deep reason. Maybe they've discovered something that they've seen in you that they don't like. Maybe you said something or a joke or whatever that they don't like. Maybe they woke up and they realized something, or maybe you woke up and you realized something, and then your actions started changing a bit and they picked it up and then they decided, I'm done. And then sometimes people leave our lives abruptly and we just don't know why. Like, we're confused. Like, everything is going fine. And then all of a sudden, boom, you don't hear from them anymore. And not really in a ghosting type of way, but more so in a way that the relationship has changed, right? There's something off, but nobody's confronting it, but it's off. Like, we don't really talk like that, but it's off, right? And clearly, we're going to take out the fact that life happens. We're going to take out the fact that people go through things and they need their time and they need to process. And I know, like, again, for me, I need my time. So when I'm going through something that's emotional for me and heavy, I'm a very bubbly person. I love to be around people. I love having conversations, but I feel like I can't really give me when I'm going through something. So I might need time to just process, and it has nothing to do with the people in my life. I just need to, like, sink everything in with me and figure out where my brain is going before I can, then talk to you, because I don't know where my thoughts are. And I consider myself an SEF. SEF stands for shared emotion friend. Have you ever experienced a time in your life where you feel the same thing that your friends feel or your spouse feel? Like, if they're crying, if they're down, if they're happy, it's like you feel that. So if my friend is dealing with a situation with a guy and he's not treating her right, I felt that. If my friend gets promoted, I got promoted. My friend gets a new man, I got a new man. My friend has a baby, I got a baby, because I feel I have a very deep connection with people in my life, and I share those emotions with you, whether they're good, whether they're indifferent, or whether they're opportunities. I share that with you. And I used to be so involved with the emotions of others that I had to kind of learn as I got older to pull back a little bit, because I would say when I was younger, I was definitely like with you, like, hey, what happened? What did he do? What did she do? This is what happened. Oh my God. Like, super with you. And I mean, I didn't change. I'm still the same way now. I just think that when you get older and you start to mature, you look at things a lot differently. And I really used to feel so much for people. And I so good at following up and I'm so great at confrontation. Why? Because I really care about my relationships and I really wanted to make sure that if there was any type of awkwardness, any type of silence, any type of weirdness in the relationship, that I can say that I've tried and I can say that I've reached out and I can say that I've, confronted you and let it out on the table. And I say what I have to say, you say what you have to say, and then hopefully we can, move on. And it got to a place where I became tired of being that person all the time. And I feel like as much as I want to be the person to confront and make sure that we have this conversation, I think for us, like, we need to have people do that as well, because that also shows the dynamic of a relationship, right? Like, you give, I give. Like, I'm not going to give you everything and let you kind of go through the sidelines while I'm giving you this and giving you that, and you're not giving shit. And I feel like a lot of times I realized that I had this open venue. It's like, imagine an open venue. Imagine you're throwing a party, okay? And it's a beautiful venue. It's beautiful. But you don't have a guest list. You don't have a guest list. So you have all these people coming in that you don't know. And you have all these people that you don't really talk to like that. But because you have this beautiful venue with the best DJ, you got the best music, the best food, and all of that. And then here comes God being your concierge, and God will extract people from your life because he's like, listen, you're not organized in your life right now. You didn't get, like, I showed you so many signs to let you know that this person is sus. Sus means suspicious for my international listeners. I'm from New York, so our lingo's a little different. Okay. So sus means suspicious. So you didn't realize this person was sus. You didn't realize that this person, not saying that they don't have your best interest, but it's a little skewed, right? You can't really, I don't know. Okay. So, due to you not being organized with your venue, due to the fact that you don't have a guest list, well, guess what? I'm going to create one for you. And then all of a sudden, you start to see people drop like flies because you need to make sure that your venue is tight. You need to make sure that your venue have people who deserve to be there, who belongs there. And I realized that that's what God does a lot of times. He removes people from your life. And what I'll say is this: whenever God removes someone from your life abruptly, we know the emotions that happens with that. And we're going to get to that. But I will say towards the end, it's always for the better because the person may come back better. Maybe they need space to figure themselves out, or maybe they're just not meant to be in your life anymore. As hard as that may be and a hard pill to swallow, that could be it. And the feelings that we have when something like that happens is you're frustrated, you're hurt, you're confused, you're disappointed. You feel like, wow, did you care about this relationship at all? Like, you just bounced. You know what I mean? Like, you have no explanation. So it does confuse you. It does. And I think people would rather cut people off than confront them because confrontation is a very big, big, big thing to do. It's not easy. It's not, because you have to be the bigger person. You have to be very mature, and you can't be a petty person, and you have to be able to deal with the rebuttal. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that because it's all about me, 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 me. So when you have the capability to be confrontational, you can dish it, but you also have to know how to take it. And I think that a lot of issues that people have is that they're unable to take it. So therefore, instead of dealing with that, it's just like, I'm just going to remove myself, which is cool. But I feel like the benefits of confrontation, it gives you three big benefits. And the benefits are, it gives you the opportunity to either apologize, rectify, or clarify. So we can, talk about it, and you can apologize or I can apologize if I said something wrong to you. Maybe I said something in a particular way that you didn't like. Maybe, maybe I said something, I don't know, that you didn't like. And that gives me an opportunity to apologize, or I can clarify. what I said. Maybe I'm not apologizing, but maybe I said something and you interpreted it the wrong way because of your mindset and the way you're viewing things. And here's what I say about that. Sometimes you do need to have somebody like refresh and restart the conversation. Just like when you have to refresh your browser. And once you refresh your browser, all of a sudden it's clear again. It starts working again. It starts functioning again. And it's crazy that people have so much patience when it comes to electronics and shit. But when it comes to people, the patience is very skewed. I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying. So, I just think that it's important to give people the opportunity to clarify what they're saying. And that's why I talked about having an open door policy. And if you haven't listened to that SOE episode, I strongly recommend that you do, because I talk about having an open door policy so that people can have the opportunity to talk to you. It doesn't mean you're going to let them in 100%, but they can talk to you and have a conversation, and you'll be willing to listen. So you can either clarify or you can rectify the situation. Like, we can talk about it. You say your piece, I say my piece, and now we can find a solution together. And the biggest purposes to either apologize, clarify, or rectify is that when you have made a decision, you're running with these thoughts in your mind. And here's what's going on. You're going to start confiding in people who is going to be on your side. So therefore, the other party is going to be the bad person. And without talking to them and trying to really, really figure something out, you start confiding in other people who's like, oh my God, I can't believe she did that. Oh my God, yeah, 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 yeah. But instead, you're not talking to the person. You're not actually like having a conversation with them. So it's just like, how can you get to the truth? How can you get to the truth of what's happening? Because you're kind of just believing the thoughts that you have created in your mind and not things that are factual. And then when you talk to other people, they're only getting one side. Meanwhile, I'm here on this earth breathing. You hear that? I am breathing on this earth. And instead of talking to me, you want to talk to other people about me versus talking to me, because that makes you feel better, because that validates the thoughts that you have in your mind that's not real because we haven't talked. Do you guys get that? I know I'm kind of like, moving along, but I think that's what it is. And I also think that when people disappear like that, we gotta be mindful of, and I keep saying this, growth is not universal. So sometimes people do need a break. Sometimes people do take things personally. Sometimes people start to create shit in their own fucking minds that's not real. And it's like, you know, how can you fight that if you don't say anything? So the emotions that are associated when this happens are, if you're on the other end of the spectrum, it is hurtful because you're confused. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening. But what I'll say to you is this: although being confused and although being like, what's going on, when that person decides to exit stage left, let them go. Let them explore. Let them be. Let them figure themselves out. Don't take it so personal, although it is personal. I know it is oxymoronic. I'm back and forth, but don't take it too personal, because this person, it could be deeper, it could be something else. But what I'll say to you is this: confrontation requires maturity. And if the person is not as mature, it's not going to be easy to have a conversation with them. It's not going to be easy to do that. So it's like, you want to make sure that you're in the space where you're like, okay, I know that this has happened. So I'm going to now focus on what can I do to keep myself sane, because I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. And just like the confusion and the feelings and the emotions, because this person has abruptly just left your life, we also need to talk about why it's so important to remain still. And also, let's really talk about what you really can do during that time of their disappearance, and also how to really capture the lessons. What I mean by capture is we have these lessons and sometimes we miss them, and that's why we continue to make mistakes over and over and over again. So, let's talk about how to capture these lessons and really how to deal with this process. We will get back to this fabulous episode, but I just wanted to let you know that you can find Save the Good Girl on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube. There is also a chance for you to be featured on the show. Check out the link in the description to send me a voice message. In addition to the podcast, did you know that Save the Good Girl has a blog? Be a part of VIP by subscribing to the email list on savethegoodgirl.com. So many options to stay connected. All right, let's get back to the episode. In our life, we have a tendency to want to have all of this parties and have a great time and not create our VIP list. And this is why sometimes God has to create that for us, right? Like he has to be the bodyguard and say, you are not on this list and we cannot have you here trying to disrupt my child's flow. That's what we're not going to do. Okay. And I'm a firm believer of feeling the feelings, because when you feel the feelings, you are giving yourself permission to be in your element at the moment that you choose. Versus when you suppress those feelings, they come out without your permission at any time, with anyone, at any moment. So I am a firm believer. If you're mad, be mad. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to write, write. If you want to be alone, be alone. If you need a mental health day, if you need to take a PTO day from work, if you need a weekend just for you, if you need to just put your phone on do not disturb, whatever it is, manage your self-care so you can get back to that. And I actually did a really great episode about self-care. And I wrote an article about self-care as well on savethegoodgirl.com on the blog that you can take a look at, listen to, and read about how to really create your own self-care, because it's so important to get back to us when life throws these curveballs and disrupts us, right? Like you're having a great day and then boom. Whoa, what happened here? So how do we get back to that, right? So I'm a firm believer of feeling the feelings. I'm a firm believer, if you need to confront, but give yourself time. You need to remain still to really understand the process so that you can process. So when somebody has decided to just abruptly leave, or you have a friend that you don't speak to anymore, or something is just off, yeah, it's going to make you feel some type of way, but you need to be still a little bit so that you can process. Not a little bit, but you need to be still. Like you need to chill before you can move forward and say something you don't mean or do something you don't want to do. And during the time of this disappointment, what can we do? Exactly what I just said. Focus on your self-care and think about it. Think about what happened. See where you are. You know what I mean? Really analyze what's going on. And more importantly, during this time, who is there for you? How about that? Who are your anchors? Who are the people who are currently supporting you, who are there for you no matter what? When it comes to invitations, right? When it comes to invitations, we know about housewarmings. We know about come meet me for my happy hour because I got promoted, baby showers, weddings. We know about all of these celebratory moments. I'm starting my own business. Um, all of these celebratory moments. But the real invitation is when someone invites you to their life raw. When someone has told you something so deep and so vulnerable, when somebody has been at a down place and they're on the ground and they're like, come by, I need to talk to you. That's the real invitation. That is the real invitation. So we need to really think about the people who are currently there and not spend so much time on these Ghostbusters who are not there at this moment, because maybe they need to gather themselves together, or maybe they just don't want to talk to you. But either way, the people who are there, they need to be given more attention than the people who are not, because there may be someone in your life, a friend, a teacher, a family member, a parent, a spouse, whatever, right? Coworkers that are there for you, that are listening to you, that support you, that care about if you woke up today. God forbid. You know what I used to tell my friends that that, let's say a guy would like disappear and do ghost and be a ghost, I should say, like Casper. Oh, I have such a good episode about ghosting. Oh, you got to stay tuned for that. That might be a part 3. That might be 3 series. We'll see. But I would tell them, I'm like, do you realize that this man would, God forbid, if you died today, this man wouldn't know because they're not in your life. So it's like, God forbid if something happens to you, they would not know because they don't care. They don't care. So you need to really think about the people who are there and how do you capture your lesson? How do you really capture it and say, okay, what what part did I play in this, right? Because we do have to be mature. Did you do something wrong though? Did you say something wrong? Could you have approached the situation better? And if you have come to the conclusion that, yes, I could have come to this better, you know what? I could have done X, Y, and Z. Then, if you're at the space to reach out to them and say, hey, I apologize, da, 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 by all means, I am with you. Do it. Do it. Reach out and say how you feel, okay? And let it out. Let it out. But we need to acknowledge that presence of where are we really when it comes to that. And then we need to also kind of acknowledge what type of support do you really need? And what did this person bring to your life that you're currently missing? And the fact that you're breathing will let you know that you're going to be okay. There was a time, like, I think I was maybe 15, and my dad said to me, you see someone when you don't see them. He always said that. And I think when I was that young, I wasn't like I was writing poetry since I was like 12, and I felt like I was always mentally I was never at my age group. So when I was 12, I think I was like 20 mentally. Like my brain was just a little different. But when my dad said that, I really took some time to dissect that for years actually, and I really have come to the realization that when he says you see someone when you don't see them, what that means is when this person is not in front of your face, you get a chance to really see them and really see their character and listen to the ad libs. Because I realize that when people are in front of you, they might say things under their breath that you don't catch. And it's only until you get home and you're like, wait. Yeah, she did say that. And then she said, it's like all of a sudden the memories start to come back in. And you're like, oh my gosh, I remember that. So seeing someone when you don't see them means when they have left your life, you get to really see their character. So whether that's an opportunity for you to apologize, great, or that might be an opportunity for you to say, you know what, this is actually a blessing. I'm okay with you acting funny. I'm okay with you being dismissive. I'm okay with you not acknowledging a change in our relationship. And instead of talking to me, you decide to go away. I'm okay with that because you know what? Maybe, maybe you're the problem. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm okay with acknowledging if I'm the problem. I'm okay. Like, I am a confrontational person. I'm telling you this right now. The same way I can dish it, I can take it. I can take it. But I am confrontational and I will give people the opportunity to say how they feel. But I also want to make sure that I capture the lesson. So I take time to analyze the situation and I do speak to people who are like-minded. And that's another thing. You got to be careful who you're speaking with when you want to be vulnerable when it comes to situations like this, because you may talk to somebody who also has a shared resentment for the same person, aka you, or maybe you are that person, and their advice is skewed. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have discernment. You need to know the difference between someone really giving you solid advice because they really care about your self-development and your growth and your maturity versus someone who's petty and immature. You got to be careful with those type of advice. You got to be careful with that. So you really want to capture your lesson, capture it. See the lesson, like pick it up. Oop, caught it. All right. Once you catch it, bring it into your soul, open it up, dissect it, figure it out. During this process of the person disappearing, you take your time to feel the feelings. You take your time to remain still in the process. because you cannot force anyone to be in your life. It is a privilege for someone to be in your life. Do you know how many people have passed away or how many people don't make it out of the womb? And you are here. You will be disappointed. Life is going to happen. People are going to leave your life abruptly. That gives you the perfect time to revisit what's going on with you. It's always, always, always goes back to you. Let the people do what they got to do. We got things to do, boo. We got things to do. That's what I was saying. Like, I got shit to do. And if people think for 1 second I have time to sit here and focus and talk about you, about what you're doing and this doing and that doing, that's not who I am. When I was younger, like in high school and in college, like, oh my God, girl, oh my God, 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 right? Because I was younger and that was what I used to do with all of my friends. We were all the same. But now, as I'm getting older, my focus is to manifest properly. My focus is to continue to work on my development. My focus is to really be there for those who have always been there for me through the toughest times of my life. My focus is to focus on my health. My focus is to spend time with my family. My focus is to continue to grow this podcast and elevate it. So, with that being said, my love, I could give a fuck about what anybody has to do, but people really think that they're that important. People really think that way. And the best thing you can do when that happens is to continue to prosper and continue to pray. Okay? Prosper and pray because people get real funny. And when they start to leave and they want to talk about you to other people, and it's like, I used to care so much about what other people used to say to me. But I heard from Lisa Nichols when she said, what people have to say about you is not your business. And it's true. I don't like that. I don't care what you have to say about me. It's not like that does not determine my character. Like, I'm too strong in who I am and my development for me to worry about what you think of me and in terms of why you decide to leave. Bye. Bye. This is not Blue's Clues. I'm not trying to figure nothing out because people get real theatrical. And currently, right now in New York, Broadway is closed. But I feel like people could be Broadway directors the way they act in very freaking dramatic right now. Okay, super dramatic. But and that's just not that's just from everybody. Like the stories that I hear from people who were, best friends, and then something happened in someone's life and that person not be there for them, or somebody who was in a relationship did all of this work and the person's just not there for them, or somebody whose friendships and it just kind of dissipated and you don't know why, and the person is not even trying. I think that's what hurts the most. What hurts the most, I think, is when something did happen and the other person, they're not even willing to try with you and you're willing to try. That hurts. It does. So that's why I feel like it's important to acknowledge those feelings. Feel the feelings. Let it really sink into you, but do not let it sink into you so much that you forget about the blessings you have, that you forget about the people who really care. Sorry, my bad. My mic is was moving. But yeah, don't forget about the people that are in your life. Don't forget about the people who really do care about you. Don't forget about your progression. You are not your emotion from last year. You are not your emotion from 2 years ago. And it is not your business that you have grown, but other people can't see that because they didn't grow. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not your business. I am not the same person I was when I was 12. I am not the same person I was last month. I am not the same person I was in May before I launched the podcast. I launched the podcast on June 19th of 2020. I don't know when you're going to be listening to this, but I did launch this podcast on June 19th on 2020. I am not the same person I was June 18th. 2020. And it is not my responsibility that you cannot see that I have grown and developed because you chose not to see it. And I'm not going to give you a dissertation. I'm not going to give you a soliloquy or an essay to prove to you that I have changed. I am going to continue to elevate. And I think we need to continue to elevate. Is there things that we need to work on? Absolutely. Are we perfect? No, and I never claim to be. But what I will say is that I'm committed to my growth. I'm committed to the possibility of my greatness, not the possibility, the confirmation of our greatness, I should say, because we're listening and we're dealing with this together. So with that being said, that's another element to it where it's like, I'm not responsible for what you think of me when I was 25. I'm not responsible if you still look at me as Erica, the 10-year-old girl. That's not my business, sweetie. Okay. So, whatever you believe, that's your business. I am not the same person I was last year. I am not the same person I was earlier this year. I have elevated, I have changed. There's certain things that happen in my life that made me look at life very differently. And the way I see things is like, we have to cherish every moment. Life is not promised. So if you want to leave, bye. I have space for other people. I have space for other things that I want to accomplish. Goodbye. And what I'll say to you is this: when people decide to leave your life because of their own personal reasons, here's the thing, right? Depending on how you feel, we can't guarantee the validity of you coming back. And I've said this before. We cannot guarantee the validity when you decide to have an open door situation, open door policy. We can't guarantee that. Just because I have an open door does not mean I'm going to let you in the house. That means I'm going to open the door to hear you out. I might slam that shit as soon as you leave, but I'll open it. I'll open it for you. I might slam it when you go, but I will open it for you. Okay. I will open it for you. And I really want us to focus on, these feelings that occur, and the fact that, our growth and what we're doing, we don't owe that to those people. So it's like, if they want to leave, let them leave. If you have done something wrong, though, you have to be the bigger person to apologize. And then you also need to forgive, whether you've done something or not. Ugh, I know. Why do I have to forgive? I didn't even do anything. I got you. I heard you. I could hear you right now. But I'm going to tell you why forgiveness is key. Yep. It's the key. It's the key. Yeah. We need to forgive, after we have remained still and we have really looked at the situation and focused on that. We got to forgive. And here's the thing about forgiveness: forgiveness is not saying that you are fine with what happened, that you're okay with what occurred. Forgiveness is really about accepting what happened and choosing for it to not let it control you and keep you at this stagnant place with the situation, right? So we got to kind of, not like, you need to be able to forgive someone, and you need to be able to accept an apology you never got. And if you're waiting for an apology from someone that's just completely out of your life, you'll be waiting forever. And then you're going to let this harbor in your life for a long time. And it's not necessary. It's not worth it. Especially when we have so much life to live. We got so many things to do. Like, I forgive you. We're good. Leave me alone. you know? And when you are in that space of all these emotions, you become very vulnerable, and you need to understand that you need to manage your vulnerability. You need to know who to share this information with, because people are real interesting when it comes to vulnerability and people sharing how they feel, and they start to misconstrue what you're saying and make it into something else that's not what it is. It's like weird. And you have to realize that people have their own issues that they'll place on you that they haven't dealt with. They haven't done their work. They haven't healed from something. So therefore, they may place their own insecurities on you. They may place their own history on you. And that's also not fair. So when someone decides to just exit, let them exit. Let them figure out what they need to do. People really think, that it may be the best thing for them. And maybe it will. Maybe you're toxic. I don't know. Maybe you have some healing to do. The whole point is that when something like this happens that's abrupt, be thankful, feel the feelings, move on. And there's 3 P's that I like to live by. And that's peep, proceed, and prepare. Peep, for my people who are international, peep is like noticing something. Like you peep something, it's like, okay, I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from. Proceed means I see where you're coming from. I'm going to keep moving. It hurts a little bit. You know what? This kind of hurts. I'm walking on rocks with no shoes on. So it kind of hurts, but I'm still walking. Still walking. And then prepare means after you have proceeded, you're preparing for the next steps for yourself. You're preparing for what's next. So proceed, and prepare. That's what we really need to do, because we cannot control what people do to us, what people say to us. We can only control how we honestly react. And as cliche as that sounds, it's very true. And how we react and how we act and what we say and what we do is a culmination of everything. And when you're in a place of manifestation, when you're in a place of gratitude, when you're in a place of growth, when you're in a place of understanding, when you have gotten to a level of saying, this really does not serve me, I'm good. You could leave because I was going to kick your ass out anyway, so you can go. That's fine. Let people do what they have to do, because sometimes I think when people are not in sync, they start to create things, and they really think that, oh, this person really is this. And they talk about you more than you ever think about them. And it's like, that's not your business. Like, you have to focus on you, your growth, your path. What else do you want out of life? What else do we need to capture? What else do we need to do? What else is missing? What kind of routines do we need to have? What kind of routines do we need to fix? I posted an episode on the SOE, which is SOE, by the way, if you guys are not familiar, because I do have people who love the filler episodes, and some people love the short episodes. Some people love affirmations. SOE is my short episodes that I usually post on Tuesdays. And I did a SOE episode about having a better morning and nighttime routine so that our days can be better. That's what we need to focus on. We need to focus on that. We need to focus on our self-care. We got manifestation. We got a lot going on. We got a lot to do. We got a lot to do. So I can't manage how people show up for me. And I think, and to a certain extent, there was a time where I would, because I felt like, if we're friends, I hold you to this standard. And if you didn't meet that standard, it interrupted my flow. And it disappointed me. And at that point, I'm just kind of like, this person's not really there for me. When in all actuality, you cannot you cannot manage how someone shows up for you. And I think even now it's still taking me some time to process that, because it's true. You can't tell someone how to show up. Either they're going to show up for you or not. And we need to focus on people who are in our venues that are there and they're on time. They're dressed, they RSVP'd, they are intentional. They know that this date they are with you and they are really with you. Because you have the stragglers that just walk by. You have people who are late that disrespect your time. And I'm telling you right now, I hate people who are fucking late all the time, because you don't disrespect me and my time. I don't like that. So it's like, you got people showing up to your, venue all late. And you got people who are on time. You got people who really care about your well-being. You got people who have forgiven you for the things you've done. I'm not a perfect person. I've had many arguments with my friends, and I've had friends for years, and we have overcome a lot of things. And I will say that I value those friendships. I value the relationships that I have with my family, because, it's things that have happened for a long time, but they never let the situation cloud who I am as a person. And I think what happens with people is that they take a situation and they elevate that to how you are as a person, versus just taking you in that situation and saying, you did not handle this well. Not like, oh, you didn't handle all of this well. And it's not our responsibility to edit that. If this person doesn't want to give you the opportunity to apologize, to clarify, or to rectify, you gotta proceed, and prepare to move the fuck on. Simply put, because we have things to do, my love. We do not have time for all of this back and forth. So if you want to leave, leave. However, like I always say, if you want to come back, come back. But I can't guarantee how I'm going to be, but I will keep an open door. I might slam that shit as soon as you leave, but I'll keep an open door. And I want us to focus on forgiveness. I want us to focus on taking accountability for the things we could have said and the things we could have done a bit better. And I also want us to focus on the progress we have made in our lives. Don't let anybody make you feel, oh, this is how you've been. Da, da, da. No, if you have been growing, acknowledge your growth and don't lose sight of that. If you are taking, better steps in your life, acknowledge that and don't lose sight of that. Don't let somebody deter you. So again, somebody leaves your life, as uncomfortable and upsetting and disappointing as that may be, let them go. Let them go and do your work in their disappearing act. Let them go and do your work, because the most important thing is the people who are there, the breath you are currently taking, and the amazing things that you're about to do, whether they get to witness this greatness or not. That does not determine your progression and your speed. It always feels so great when I get a chance to talk to you guys, and I know how it feels when something like this happens. It's not the nicest feeling. It causes a lot of confusion, and we take it out on ourselves and we start to internalize things that are not real. We make up things in our minds to kind of figure out maybe this, maybe that. We try to strategize, and I'm just here to tell you that you're still breathing, you're still here. Continue to just work on yourself. I know that sounds very like, okay, but that's the best thing you can do, is to continue to work on yourself and really value the people who are presently in your life, and the person that has left. It may be for a good reason. Sometimes people are toxic and we don't have the eyes to see that. We don't have the emotions to feel that. And I really, really hope that, you enjoyed this episode and you're able to just breathe and look at your situation in a different way and not internalize it to the point where it hurts you, and let people live their lives. If they think that you're focused on them, let them think that. Just continue to do what works for you and continue to focus on the beautiful people that you have in your life and the experiences that you have in your life. And more importantly, that you and I get to do this. And just breathe, my love. Just breathe. If you found value in this episode, please share it with your friends or your family or anyone you feel needs to hear this, because this is something that happens to everybody. So, at any point at time. So the Save the Good Girl podcast is here. And as always, you can catch me at the next episode next week or whenever. You can listen to my episodes 1,000 times if you want. My responsibility is for me to post them. I cannot wait to talk to you guys. I said, guys. I cannot wait to talk to you guys again. That's what I tried to say. Now, on the next episode of Save the Good Girl, have a phenomenal feeling. How about that? You deserve that. I feel like we're connecting, so let's make sure we're connected. You can find Save the Good Girl on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Did you know about the Save the Good Girl blog? Yes, there is a blog. Check out SaveTheGoodGirl.com to subscribe to the fabulous VIP email list and be the first to know about new podcast episodes, new blog posts, and giveaways. In addition to listening to Save the Good Girl on many platforms like Apple, Google, Spotify, and many more, you can also subscribe to the Save the Good Girl YouTube channel if YouTube is more of your thing. There are so many options to stay connected and be a part of the Save the Good Girl community. For all updates, or if you just want to contact me to say hello, ask me a question, or send me a comment, check out the contact section on SaveTheGoodGirl.com.